Hi, today I'm going to show you how to knit this lace stitch that you can use to make a Mary Poppins scarf. The original scarf was made with crochet, but I think that this stitch looks very similar to the original one. This stitch is completely based on a blog post by Alessandrina, so I'm gonna link her down below so you go check her out. Her blog post also describes in more detail how to knit this stitch with a lace carriage, either by using an electronic machine or with a punch card. If you don't know her yet, I highly recommend you go check her out because she makes tons and tons of blog posts about machine knitting and tons of stitches, so go check her out. I was originally going to make this with two strands held together of this mohair with another strand of thin acrylic, but I made some swatches and the result was too thick, so I ended up using only one strand, even though they are different kind of yarn types. This is a stitch repeat that you are going to make all throughout this pattern. As you can see, you will transfer stitches to either side, leaving two holes behind. Let's go through it. For this scarf, I recommend you do a latch hook cast on. This will provide better structure to the edge and will make it so the scarf doesn't roll up at the bottom. If you still don't know how to do this cast on, I will also link up in the description a video by knitting on the hook, which shows you how to do this perfectly. After doing this cast on, I will knit a row . And then I'm going to pull out all my needles, put my carriage to hold. I will pass through the carriage to the other side without needing anything, and I'm going to do another pass of the latch hook cast on. I will do this cast on behind the cast on I already knitted. This is just going to make a better edge. Now don't forget to return your carriage to normal, and we will knit another row. After this row, we will be ready to begin the lace work. This is the perfect time to put on your weights. Okay, so let's follow the chart I showed you earlier. I'm gonna skip the first stitch and I'm gonna transfer the second stitch to the first stitch, then the third stitch to the fourth stitch. This is gonna leave behind these two empty needles. I'm gonna skip 1, 2, and again the third stitch to the second and the fourth to the fifth. And I'm going to repeat this stitch pattern all along the bed, leaving behind 2 needles without stitches and 2 needles that have 2 stitches on them. I'm going to show you another angle later if you don't completely understand this transfer work with this camera angle. Once you finish transferring all the stitches, make sure all the needles that don't have stitches are out of work. And I'm going to need 1 row. And now you will pull out all the needles that are out of work, so every needle is in work. And I'm going to need another row. Okay, now you will find that the row before created these strands that go across the knitting. So you will pick these strands and hang them on top. You need to use a 2-prong transfer tool to do this. So find the strand that goes below the hole, pick it up and hang it in the 2 needles on top, all the way through. Once you have done that, it's time to do the transfer work again, but this time we will do it skipping up the holes, doing it in a staggered way like a checkerboard. So again, I'm going to pick up the stitches and create a hole of 2 needles, and then have needles that have 2 stitches on them. As you can see, these holes will appear between the holes of the earlier rows. Once you finish doing all the transfer work, you will again knit up a row, making sure your needles are out of work, then putting them back on work, knitting up another row, and you will pick up again these strands that are created below and putting them up on the needles on top. Once you have done that, it's time to just repeat the stitch pattern however long you want it. For this example, I'm going to need around 16 rows of this pink color, and then I'm going to need like 14 rows of the orange one. And this will be my length of the stripes, so they match the original scarf. And here it is. Obviously this is only a swatch, but hopefully you can imagine how it will look as a complete scarf. Once again, if you actually plan on doing these scarves, I will recommend you go to the blog of Alessandrina and check out how you can do this with the lace carriage, because I think doing a whole scarf will be better suited to do on the lace carriage than doing the transfers by hand. But this is all. I hope you like it and give it a try. Thanks.